The backdoor Roth IRA can best be described as a tax loophole that allows investors that are barred from investing in a Roth IRA to actually invest in a Roth IRA, just not directly. It is a surprise to me that the IRS has not banned this tax strategy, as it is highly effective at minimizing the tax liability from investments, and it is surprisingly easy to do once you have the proper knowledge of it. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know about the backdoor Roth IRA and show you the specific steps needed to actually take a traditional IRA and convert it to a Roth IRA, which is the backdoor Roth IRA. In 1997, Congress passed the Taxpayer Relief Act into law, which established the Roth IRA as an investment vehicle and allowed for tax-free growth and tax-free qualified withdrawals. At the time of posting this video, in 2024, the maximum contribution cumulatively to a Roth or a traditional IRA is just $7,000. And the Taxpayer Relief Act actually set contribution limits on people based on their income amounts and their filing status. The government wants to encourage people to save for retirement because this leads to a more stable society where people aren't just depending on the government. This is why Congress allowed this bill to pass in the first place. I started researching the backdoor Roth IRA personally because it affects my family. It's not because we make a lot of money, it's actually because my wife and I file married filing separately because she is on an income-driven repayment plan for her student loans. Filing separately helps us avoid having to make large student debt repayments. However, choosing the status of married filing separately is very punishing from a tax perspective. And one of those punishments is actually that we cannot contribute to a Roth IRA unless we each make less than $10,000 a year. And it's not just those that are married filing separately that are barred from contributing to a Roth IRA. Any individual that makes more than $161,000 a year or $240,000 as a married couple is also barred from investing in a Roth IRA. And this is where the backdoor Roth IRA comes into play. It is surprisingly easy to get around these contribution restrictions. All you have to do is follow a simple 3-step process. First, you should set up an account with a broker if you don't already have one, and then you're going to go ahead and open up a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Second, you should make non-deductible contributions to your traditional IRA. There's really nothing extra to do here besides making the contribution. You just need to make sure that you don't actually take the deduction when it comes time to do your taxes. Now, most likely, if you're watching this video, you're already probably going to be barred from deductions that come from making a traditional IRA contribution. And your tax software is going to know that based on your filing status and income level. So just make sure you don't take any sort of deductions for those contributions to your traditional IRA, and you should be good for this step. Just for a little background info here, one of the key aspects that makes a backdoor Roth IRA work is just the fact that you can contribute to a traditional IRA and not take any tax deductions regardless of your income level. There's really no benefit unless you're planning on making a backdoor Roth IRA, converting that traditional IRA into a Roth IRA that has some really good tax benefits. So that brings us to our third step. The first step is going to be to actually take that traditional IRA with your non-deductible contributions and convert that into a Roth IRA. This step can vary a lot depending on the broker that you are using. I personally use Robinhood right now, so it's as simple as navigating to that retirement tab and clicking the option that says start a Roth conversion and following the rest of those instructions. It is also worth mentioning that for Robinhood specifically, you cannot actually convert the assets in a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. Robinhood will actually force you to sell those assets prior to conversion. This has nothing to do with a tax law or anything like that. This is just currently what Robinhood supports. Now, this next part is very important. You should make that conversion from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA as soon as you contribute that non-deductible amount. The reason being is because any gains that you're going to make in that traditional IRA, any dividends you receive, they are going to be taxed upon conversion to the Roth IRA. So clearly, the most tax efficient way to handle this conversion is going to be to just make that non-deductible contribution and then pretty much immediately before you do anything with it, convert it to the Roth IRA. I would recommend just a cadence of once a year. Make your contribution to that traditional IRA and then immediately convert. That way you're not going to have any unexpected tax consequences. Again, if you convert that traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, and then you start making gains, you start getting paid dividends, all that good stuff in the Roth IRA, then you're never going to be taxed on any of it. So this is the move unless you like paying more money to the government. This is why the conversion can be so complicated and tax burdensome for those who have built up a large traditional IRA account. It's because they have gains and dividends that they've received in that account over the years, and they're going to get taxed on all of it upon conversion to a Roth IRA. So the most strategic, best way to do this, if you do have a large balance in a traditional Roth IRA, is going to be to convert as much as you can every year without actually getting into that next higher tax bracket. Remember, conversions from a traditional to a Roth IRA are treated like income. So you just want to contribute as much as you can without hitting that next tax bracket to minimize your tax liability. One last thing you should consider is that there's the 5-year rule. So if you convert from a traditional to a Roth IRA, each time you're going to have a 5-year waiting period before you can withdraw penalty-free from that Roth IRA account. Remember, regular contributions to a Roth IRA, not the gains, but the contributions can be taken out at any time. That is not the case if you're converting from a traditional to a Roth IRA. You're gonna need to wait 5 years upon each conversion, or you're gonna get penalized unless you're above 59.5 years old. So as long as you don't take money out of your Roth IRA, which you shouldn't anyway, this would only be in an emergency. You needed to cover something that you just didn't have the funds for that's critical. Then if you don't take out of the Roth IRA, you don't even have to worry about it to begin with, but it is worth mentioning. And yeah, those are the basics of a backdoor Roth IRA. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video and you would like to see a video about how to find short squeeze candidates before anyone else, click the link on screen now.